know him and present to the rest of you all. EVP Infinity out of Greensboro, North Carolina, Mr. Stroza Hill. Are you ready, Mr. Hill?
All righty. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well and excited. Before I begin, I'd like to thank all of our guest speakers for what they've shared thus far, because I think it's important to understand why people do what they do and why it's important to really listen and pay close attention, because there's a lot of wisdom that's coming out of these testimonies today, and we're looking forward to doing that. I'm going to quickly share my screen, and as I go through the presentation itself, I will share a little bit about myself. For those who don't know me, most people in the company at this point, I've got a lot of friends here, and we love doing what we do. And I tell you, just get excited about the opportunity that we're given to share this information, and we don't take it lightly. All right, so let's get the screen up and going, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Okay, 1 second. All righty. If everything is good to go, somebody just give me a thumbs up so we know we're good to rock and roll. All right, as we said, my name is Stroza Hill.
I see you, sir. You good? I see you good.
All right, thank you. All righty. As we said, my name is Stroza Hill, and I'm out of Greensboro, North Carolina. And I am excited about the opportunity to share what it is we do. If you look at my screen here, you'll see a little bit about our firm, our team. We are called the Two Smart University. The two actually stands for the two companies that work together in tandem. One being my financial firm called the Let Us See Financial Group. And of course, my econ, which gives us a platform to educate people that eventually become clients. Or if they're clients, we're still going to educate them so they can stay clients. If you look to the left of that screen up top, you'll see a lot of things that we do. We are a fully licensed firm. That's right. We're licensed, which means that we teach people about income protection. We make sure we handle retirement rollovers for clients and a lot of other products. So keeping that in mind, it's all about the personal cash flow system that we're going to talk about, the PCP. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand something. This is the key to what makes my econ special. As it was said, a lot of folks, they have their favorite scriptures. When it comes to what I do, especially explaining the PCP, it's this right here. Notice what it says. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. I want you all to know today, for those of you that truly are believers, it is your responsibility to take care of your household and leave an inheritance for your children's children. That's your grandkids. So we're going to see how to do that today, because we want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that it is in the power of your hands to build wealth. God gave us that ability. So how do you do that? So again, I'm going to read the goal of both companies. It says the goal of this course is to give you a complete step-by-step financial blueprint to follow, all right, to follow, which will create income and wealth for you and your family. Now, folks, let me explain. I went to school for architecture engineering. I used to design churches, apartment complexes, buildings, things of that nature. I've never seen one built without a blueprint. Just don't happen. There's a possibility that it might end up looking crazy or fall down because you didn't put down the proper foundation. So through this information, we are giving you a blueprint. As Mr. Curry would say, a GPS, a proper foundation. You just have to make a decision to follow it. So let's see how we do that, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, this is a secret weapon. This is my econ secret weapon. Tanya, girl, you awesome. Now, don't all you guys be running down there to Mississippi either, okay? But she made it clear. This is the secret weapon. The first time I saw these steps, I said to myself, I could go to Washington, D.C., and said, if you would allow us to teach this in all of the schools in America, we could change this country. And folks, that's how powerful it is. So I hope you have a pen and paper, something to write with, so that you can see how to get your house in order. Notice what it says, personal cash flow plan. That's what the PCP is all about. A detailed plan on how to apply discretionary cash flow to your finances each month to attain financial success. That's the whole goal. 8 steps. Folks, we're going to go over 8 steps. It says most people stumble because they skip steps. See, they want to pop around. They want to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's not how you do it. Follow the steps. Okay. Now, again, that's where discipline comes into play. A lot of people, I believe, don't get involved with us because they sense, they smell that they're going to have to change. They're going to have to stop some of the things that they may be doing that's not getting them to their ultimate goal. So they sense discipline. But as it was already said, I think it was Tanya, either you discipline yourself now or you're going to be forced to be disciplined later. Now pick one. It's just that simple. Okay? You don't want to be 65, 70, 75, 80 and got to determine which kids you have to live with. See, you don't want to do that. Discipline yourself now, put the plan in place, work the plan, and the plan will work. So let's take a look at those steps. First of all, step 1, it says generate cash flow. Build as much positive cash flow as possible. Now, folks, let me explain something. We teach this in my econ. There's 5 ways we're going to. First of all, if you have a job, you need a business. Okay? It needs to be clear that any financial advisor that doesn't talk to a person about having a business, to me, ain't worth the salt that you're going to pay them, because that's your problem. You don't have a business. So we're fortunate enough here because when we talk to people that have a job, we say you need a business. And of course, that's where my econ comes into place. We give you a business online so that you can create the deductions that cause you to minimize your taxes, free up additional income, if properly used, can cause you to achieve personal financial success. Then if you are an employee, we're going to show you how to fill out your tax forms that John Pettiford said that 80% of the population, and I'm sure he got that from the IRS, has this form filled out incorrectly. Now, if that's the case, that gives us an awesome opportunity to help people who want help to get their financial house in order. Man, if you're getting a refund and you think that's a blessing, you are mistaken. That's a return of your own money that you've allowed someone to keep and pay you nothing for it. So we got to change that attitude. We have to change that broke traditional way of looking at things, because that's why people are in the situation that they're in. And if that's not enough, we're going to show you by having a business, you can minimize your taxes with deductions. Then next, we're going to show you how to minimize your expenses and still enjoy life. Folks, in my econ, we have a travel program. See, we know one thing that human beings, especially in America, are going to do. They're going to travel. Broke people travel. Broke people take out, borrow money to go on trips. Can you imagine? I wouldn't even enjoy the trip if I borrowed the money to go. I can see my kids running around, Daddy, come on and play. I don't want to play. I got to pay this loan off when we get back from Disney. So, folks, we have ways in our company to show you how to minimize expenses and still have fun. So you want to make sure you get with someone that can explain our travel program. And we have tools that will help you eliminate your debt. You just heard Taniki talk about your credit. We have the My Credit Repair System that allows you to raise your score so you can go back, refinance your home, refinance your car payment, get lower interest rates on credit cards. All of these things are part of what we do to generate more cash flow. Now, did y'all hear discipline involved with some of these things? Did I say we're in business? One thing, I'm not in business. I'm not going to show you how to free up money so you can find new ways to spend it. I'm not your guy for that, okay? I'm interested in people who want to learn how they can have more money, do the right things with it so they can achieve their goals. That's the business I'm in. So, folks, step one is a serious step. So if you're on here today and you're not in business, especially with us, you need to get with the person who invited you and make that happen, because we got you. Next, step two, we're going to show you how to establish. You heard Charmaine say she had an emergency fund. When COVID hit, she didn't have to change her standard of living. See, folks, because she was prepared for hard times to come. That's also in the word, too. But notice what it says. You need to have an account set aside for unexpected things. Okay? It says only used for true emergencies. Make a note of that. Okay? If you're driving a raggedy ride right now, your ride is raggedy. Okay? And you know it's raggedy. And at some point it breaks down in the middle of a busy intersection. That is not an excuse to go buy a new car. You knew that car was raggedy. Okay? That's not an emergency. An emergency is something unforeseen. You had no idea. Let's say you bought a brand new car and it broke down and it didn't move. Now, that might be an emergency because that was not expected. So don't play with this. This is important. You have to have money set aside for hard times to come. Okay? Notice, it must be liquid. No investments. And the reason we say that is you don't want this money in the market where it's moving up and down. And you know when the emergency is going to come up, when the market's what? Down. And now you got to pull money out when it's not at its best value. And that's how you suffer another loss. So you see here, we give you some suggestions on where to put it. And if you want more information on that, I let my clients just give us a call. All right. Now, let's talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to get into the mental use of the emergency fund. Notice it says you need to get to 3,000 to 5,000 saved up ASAP. This is a beginner's emergency fund. Your ultimate goal is to have 6 to 12 times your cost of living. But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. It needs to be semi-liquid, but not convenient. Here's the key. If it's too convenient, every time something comes up, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be hitting it. Your little feelings got hurt at work. You say, I need a vacation. That ain't no emergency, but it's too convenient. If you can go down there and go, doo, 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 that's too convenient. So you don't want to do that. Partners must be in agreement to what an emergency is. An emergency for a man is different than an emergency for a woman. Brother man is trying to convince you to let him buy a big screen television during the Super Bowl, knowing he don't have any money, nor did he save any money for a big screen television. But a smart woman always has a little stash somewhere, and he knows you have it, and he's trying to get it. You need to go, If it's not this, or that, we're not going to touch this money. See, I teach my clients, you would rather have hard times with something than hard times with nothing. See, folks, you don't play with this. See, when you're going through hard times, knowing you have something helps keep your attitude straight as you fight through the hard times. Amos 3:3 says, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? You cannot, I stress, you cannot have one bring it in the front and the other one take it out the back. That won't work, but so long. Now, you need to make extra money to build your emergency fund faster. Once you made up your mind, I'm going to get free, you need to go to work. Now, I suggest you need a business. I personally will never tell another person to go get a job to make more money. That won't come out of my mouth. You need a business. And I recommend the My Econ Business Opportunity. Now, if you choose not to do that, then if you're working a job and you fortunately get something called overtime, you cannot justify spending your overtime money. You got to take all the overtime money and build your emergency fund until it's done, till you get the 6 to 12 months. Or you need to do some part-time work. Notice I didn't say part-time job. I said part-time work. That means if God has blessed you with a skill to do certain things, you need to make that a business. If you can babysit, if you can fix computers, if you can do lawns, this is part-time work. And there's the difference, folks. So that's how you get started there. And I hope that makes sense to you. Now, it's time to get started investing. You know, the rule is in my book called Living in the Overflow, I teach what is called the 10-10-80. The first 10 is for giving. The second 10 is for investing. And the 80% is for living. If you follow these rules, there's no way in the world you can end up broke, busted, and disgusted. You just can't. So now we need to give ourselves 10% of our income. So you need to take advantage of tax-deferred retirement plans. Okay? These tax-deferred retirement plans allow you to gain more money that you don't pay taxes on up front, but you pay them on the back end. Now, if we had more time, I wouldn't even worry about paying it on the back end, because if you have a business, you're still going to create deductions, and this is how you win this game. It says, get started. You got to get started. If you can't do the 10, do 5. But here's the secret. You got to develop that muscle of continuously investing and paying yourself, because that needs to be a habit, just like you pay your bills every month, just like you do everything. You need to pay yourself. Now, let's take a look at that. Here's what has happened over the years. You see, you have got to not continue to be a loaner. You got to become an owner. And what happens here mentally is you and I were taught to take our money and put it in the bank. Now, these financial institutions who love you so much, they make sure you have commercials coming in your face every day so that you know that's the place you put money. Banks are for people who do not know what to do with their money. They give it to somebody who knows exactly what to do with your money. Now, let me put some balance on this. I didn't say you shouldn't have any money in a bank. You know, there's always one person that runs off half-cocked and they want to do the total opposite and not understand. But the point is, if you want your money to grow, the bank is the worst place to put it. So that's why the banker puts your money in the market and openly admit that they can make 18 to 21% off of your money. Now, hold up a minute. The reason that you get involved here in my econ is because we're going to educate you on how to get your money to work better for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's important. So we're going to show you how to bypass tradition. Bypass it. Yeah, I know you've been hearing that all your life. That's why people live paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck, because they're following a broke tradition. So what do? You got to get educated. People who follow this plan, 83% of average Americans will retire in poverty. Do you want that to be you? Keep following that tradition. So get involved, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be scared. There's no reason for it. 1995 to get involved, to give it a test drive, and the CEO already told you if you don't benefit from it because you put in the 30 days of work, he'll give you your money back. And what more can you ask for? So you got to learn how money works, folks. You can't be afraid. This should be taught in school, but it's not. I'm talking about on a regular basis. Oh, there might be one or two with somebody went to that school and said, y'all gonna teach this. Because I also used to substitute teach when when my children were in school. And I taught every kid this. And that's why I kept getting requested to come back as a substitute. They kept requesting, look, I'm just doing this to help out. I don't need no job. Okay. So you got to learn and understand the rule of 72, which says the rule of 72 is the approximate number of years that it takes your money to double given a rate of return. So again, if you're getting, let's say 3% on your money, folks, do the math. 3 into 72 is 24. So if you put money there, you'd have to wait 24 years for it to double. Okay. If you get 6%, 12 years for it to double. Let's say you get 12% rate of return. You heard Mr. Curry say that you can get 12%. Yes, you can. Now, I'm very careful with this because I'm licensed. I can't be telling people you can get, 125% return on your money. Has it happened? Yeah. Okay. But the point of it is, within a certain safe parameters, we know that you can do this based off a historical record. Okay. You can get at least 8 to 12% easy without even you knowing what to do. So if you got 12 and 72, your money will double every 6 years. Well, let me show you what happens to those of you who are sometimes hard-headed. And when you want to follow a tradition just because it's gotten you by, let's say right now, they told you that you're making at least 1% or less in your account. Well, do the math. Y'all get your calculators out. Go ahead, I'll wait. All right. Get your calculator. Put this in. 1 into 72, what is it? That's 72 years. So if you're sitting out there in video land and you have your money in a bank making less than 1%, folks, it'll take $1 72 years to turn into $2. Now, if you got that kind of time, keep doing what you're doing. God bless you. But for people who are sick and tired of sitting on the sidelines, don't mind putting some homework in, some time to get educated, or we can show you how to improve that. See, you got to learn how money works so you can get it working for you. Notice what it says. Compounding interest. That's what this is. It's the most powerful force in the universe. Those who understand it, earn it. Those who don't, pay it. What side of the fence you going to be on? So let's go to step 4, debt elimination. Folks, if you don't have a plan to eliminate your debt, then you obviously planned to stay in it. You got to get debt free. The word says, oh no man, nothing but to love him. And that's hard to do too sometimes. But the point of it is, you and I are not supposed to be in debt. But if you're in debt, you should have a plan to get out of debt. Write this down, DFD, DFD. You need to know your debt freedom date, the date you will be debt free. Our cash flow strategist that Mr. Alvin Curry went over this morning shows you when you'll be debt free. If you put it in there properly, it'll tell you how fast you could be free, how fast you could be debt free. Why would you not want to know that? Why would you want to walk around daily thinking you'll be in debt for the rest of your life, die, and then pass it on to your children? What kind of mess is that? But we have people who do that. So you want to eliminate high interest on your debt. How are you going to do that if your credit is jacked up? That's why Taniki showed you how to get your credit straight. All right. So again, it's giving you another point. It says, do not pay off your mortgage at this stage because you want to get rid of all the debt that you get absolutely no tax deductions for first before you hit the one that you may have some minimum tax deductions, which would be a personal property, your home. So there's reasons for this. And also the way we used to say is you don't go to step 4 until you finish 3, or you don't go to 3 till you finish 2. Follow the steps. Follow the blueprint. Don't go out there making stuff up on the job. That's how contractors get in trouble. All right. Now, step 5, max out your retirement. You need to be familiar what you can do in these retirement plans. Now, this says for 2021, which we are still in that tax filing deal, you have until April 18th of this year to make these contributions for last year. All right. Again, my firm, we do this for our clients. Okay. I get calls all the time. Hey, I need to do this, that, and other. We assist people in that. Now, I know that there's some people that can do it on their own. That's cool. If you feel confident and you know what you're doing, have at it. But I know the majority may need help and they may not know which is in their best interest. That's why they seek wise counsel. I makes it clear when my car breaks down, I can fix it, but I'm taking it to a mechanic, somebody who knows what they're doing. So they know how to do it right. So all I can do is drive. All right. So there are people out there that might want help and we can help them. These are your limits. Be familiar with it. If you got any questions, give us a call. Step 6, build a full emergency fund. Now, this is the real deal. All right. It says 3 to 6 months, but notice it says these days you need to have 6 to 12. I used to teach 3 to 6. I don't anymore. You better have 6 months to 12 months in your emergency fund before you act like you've arrived and you got it going on, because you don't. Ask the people who got hit with COVID. After their unemployment ran out, they kept going to Congress. Can you extend it? Can you extend it? You probably can't fix your life or get yourself back together in 90 or 180 days. Folks, you better have 6 to 12 months. Stop playing. All right. Step 7, pay off the mortgage to buy a home. All right. You're now in a position to pay off your mortgage because you got rid of all your other debt. All right. Now, if you don't have a home, you need to own something. It's called ownership versus loanership. If you're in an apartment, you are a loaner. You're taking money and slinging it out the window. And the only way you can get anything for renting is to run a business out of your apartment. And Satina told you about that. okay, that you can take a portion of that if you made a profit and be able to write that off your taxable income. So, folks, we dropping all kind of nuggets at you, but you got to be involved. You got to stay involved. My Econ is something when you say yes to, you are in here for life. This is not, well, things are hard. Let me stop my Econ education, but keep my cable on, keep my cell phone off, keep going bowling every Tuesday night. See how people think? That's why they live in paycheck to paycheck. So again, folks, and again, I don't mean to be hard, but I'm a straight shooter. And at some point, people have got to stop playing around. Okay? So you're always going to need a place to live. You know, people getting excited because somebody's making them an offer for their home. But once you buy it, your behind's got to go somewhere else to buy another house, and the price is going to be jacked up. So I think what's happening now is perfect for maybe if you have rental properties, you know, you pay $2.50 for it. Somebody comes along and want to offer you, you know, $200,000 sold. Okay. You know, but here's the point. You got to be careful what you do in these types of things. But your mortgage should be the last debt that you pay off. Now, step 8, folks, this is my favorite part because this is what we do in our firm. Invest beyond retirement. It says you are now in a position to invest above and beyond your retirement account. Now, listen to me carefully. So you have options, stocks, bonds, real estate, silver, gold, those, you know, crypto, mutual funds, ETFs, annuities, other businesses. Make a note here. Your business is an investment. You getting involved in my Econ is an investment. You build a team, ladies and gentlemen. You put 1,000 people in business over the next 3 to 5 years. You got a steady income of at least $10,000 to $15,000 coming in every single month. Why would you not consider that as an investment? I know why, because you have to go to work. You can't go bowling every Thursday night. You might can't do some of those things that you just love to do, but don't worry about it. Keep doing that and don't save and invest. Watch what happens. So that is why it's important to understand the power of investments. Now, when I do teach investment, when we do our investment webinars, I have found out that people get investment plans mixed up with investment vehicles. See, investment plans are things like your 401k, 403b, your 457s, and all the others you see here on the left. Those are places where people put money that usually come with tax deferral, which means you're deferring the taxes to sometime in the future. And even some of them, you can have it where you never have to pay taxes on the money because you put money in there, you already paid the taxes on it. Now, you then have to go over to the right-hand side, the vehicles, and choose the vehicle that you want to fund the plan. And people get this mixed up. It happens all the time. People will say things like, well, I don't want a mutual fund. I want a 401k. I want to invest in my 401k. Well, 9 times out of 10, a mutual fund is going to be what's funding your 401k. But, you know, when they say that, it says, I don't really know what I'm talking about. So again, folks, if you look down at the bottom, there are 4 investment options that we teach in my Econ. One is cash equivalents. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see some of the cash equivalents. Those are your protected type situations, you know, your bank accounts, your CDs, money markets. Then you have bonds or bond-like vehicles. Folks, we have all those. It depends on what you're trying to achieve and what your time horizons and your age that might determine whether you need that. Then you have stocks or different type of stock products. And then you have real assets like your currencies, your crypto, your Forex. So there's an opportunity to participate, but notice something. Before you start jumping up into these things that may be a little more aggressive, you better make sure you have a solid foundation. If you don't have a 6 to 12 month emergency fund in place, you might need to think twice about shooting out there and doing something ridiculous, because I call that gambling. I don't gamble, okay? You're gambling if you're trying to hit before you put the proper foundation. So be careful. So make wise decisions. And I'm sure anybody in this company that works with you will tell you that up front. So pay attention. So play the long game. This is for most people. Most people don't have the time nor the expertise to know when to buy, wholesale, trade, all that. So you got to find a simplified way to do it. And this is how you do it right here. You want to have low volatility, folks. You want to make sure you have less stress when you know, man, I can't lose all this because I'm 50 now or I'm 60 and I need this to be there. Tax advantages. Understand what capital gains. Making money off of money is different than making money from wages on a job. They're taxed differently. All right. And it's easy to do. Seek wise counsel. Never hurts. Okay. So to summarize, notice what it says. Investing does not have to be complicated, and it doesn't, but you got to want to learn. You got to put some time in it. Okay. It's just not going to pop in your head. Okay. Notice, build a foundation. It says there is an order in which you should build financial stable portfolio. Yes, it is. You would never build a house without properly putting out a foundation, and you build from there. I see people wanting to jump straight to the roof and not do what's necessary. Unbelievable. Now, there's something else I believe is equally or probably more important than some things when you get started. Insurance. All right. It says, although it was not discussed in this presentation, you must protect your investment and insurance is the way to do that. Now, our firm is licensed. We're licensed in life insurance. All right. I personally don't call it life insurance. We call it income protection. That means my average client has at least $1 million. If something were to happen, we invest $1 million. That gives them at least $50,000 a year off the interest so they can maintain and protect all their assets. So all these folks running around with these little 10, 50,000, 100,000, that ain't no money. It'll be gone just like that. And I hope someone doesn't have to die for me to be proven right. Okay. So that's what we do in our firm, the Letter C Financial Group, along with health insurance, disability insurance. If you are self-employed, you might want to look at having disability insurance if something were to happen to you and you might be the cog that makes that wheel turn. You know, don't wait till something happens. You can't do that. Long-term care, planning for the cost of someone maybe taking care of you. You're alive, but you might have some challenges physically. So again, folks, that's what we do here at the Letter C Financial Group. We make sure our associates, they get involved, get their house in order. So stay tuned for what I call step 9. Now listen to this and I'm through. Consider protecting steps 1 through 8. We just went over the 8 steps by protecting your most valuable asset. And that valuable asset is your ability to make income. Folks, if something happens to you, unless your name is Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Tupac, Biggie, Bob Marley, Marilyn Monroe, Whitney Houston, these people are still making money in their demise. But if something happens to you, ask yourself a question. Will your income continue to go on and protect those that you are responsible for, even in death? If the answer is no, you need to give us a call. Because notice what it says here. This is not a written my-econ step and is used for training purposes only. So we actually train on step 9 at our monthly investment education webinars. So if you're interested in getting on one of our webinars, simply register by going to 2smartevolution.com. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll put you on a list and let you know when these investment education webinars take place. So, Mr. Curry, I'm going to turn it back over to you because I want people to know it says knowledge is power when applied. It's applied knowledge that gets you to your goal. Not knowing what to do and changing nothing, but knowing what to do and then put yourself in a position to prosper. When you know better, you can do better. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that was helpful. And again, I'd like to thank all of the people who participated in this today, especially the OGs. Okay. And again, like I said, don't y'all be running down there in Mississippi now. Tanya's got herself together. Okay. Turn it back over to you, sir.
Wow. Wow. Sir, wow. That was awesome.